Hello, everyone. Welcome to Avaiya's Healthy Aging Curriculum. I am Ande Anderson. My partner, Ike Allen, and I are teachers, mentors, and the co-owners of Avaiya University. Avaiya is the creator of over 1,000 books, films, courses, teachings, and other supportive resources. Thank you so much for being here. Our fellow teacher, Marc Grossman, a holistic eye doctor, is here today to talk with you about natural eye care and integrative approach. Marc is a doctor of optometry and New York State licensed acupuncturist. He is dedicated to helping people with conditions ranging from myopia, dry eyes, to potentially vision-threatening diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma. His combined multi-disciplinary approach uses nutrition and eye exercises and lifestyle changes, Chinese medicine, and it all provides people with a wide array of tools and approaches to tackle difficult eye problems. Thank you so much for being here with us, Marc.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. I'm excited to dive into this. I'm so happy that we found you and we get to talk about natural eye care on this event. Obviously, that's a very important part of the aging journey. So I know you talk about something called greater vision and vision beyond this eye-brain connection. So what do you mean by that?
Well, the way I look at things is that when Shakespeare said the eyes are the windows to the soul, I totally believe it. I mean, in Chinese medicine, when you look at the eyes, they call it the Shen, the energy center, the pilot light. So when I look and work with people with their eyes, I'm not just treating the eyes, I'm treating the person behind the eyes. I'm treating their soul's journey. How do they see the world? How do they relate to the world? I believe that all disease in the body-mind has to do with relationships to the universe, to the sky, to your internal organs, to the people in your life. So when you have an imbalance in relationships and you have an imbalance in your own personal vision about how you see yourself and see the world, it can affect your physical vision. Your inner vision can affect your outer vision.
Beautiful. I love that. That is right up our alley. I love that. That's perfect. It's no wonder we found each other. So, you just mentioned this, right? Like inner vision, outer vision. So can you dive a little deeper into how does one's inner vision affect their outer vision?
Well, you have different people. It's like when people have, I believe that all eye conditions have a physical, emotional, and psycho-spiritual component to them. So it's interesting, like, why did some people get cataracts, because we're talking about aging, and some people get them at 50 years old, some people get them at 60 years old, 70, 80. All of a sudden, there's a blockage in how clear the world is. So, in terms of regular medicine, we look in the eye and we go, oh my God, you've got the beginning of a cataract. And the person goes, oh my God, what should I do? Oh, well, wait until it gets worse and then we'll take it out. But to me, it's like, what's going on in your life at that time that has created the cataract? I mean, and why? When I was in school, I've been doing this for 40 years. When I said, but why did they get a cataract in their right eye and not their left eye? Well, it doesn't matter, it is. It's like, no, nothing is just as it is. And then I had a patient, she was just in her mid-50s, and I've been seeing her for years, and she had beginnings of a cataract in her right eye. And I said, okay, what's going on? Most people get them just through the aging process at 70 or 80. I said, what's going on in your life? Well, my father's dying, and I'm taking care of him. And I'm going through a divorce with my husband. Okay. In Chinese medicine, the right eye is the father male eye. Okay. So I gave her some homeopathic eye drops, some nutrition, things to do for the cataract. But I said, what you really need is a support system for dealing with your dad and, going through this divorce. A year later, she comes back. Her dad had passed on, she grieved, she was moving on in her life, and her divorce was final, and the cataract was gone. She didn't get surgery. Maybe my homeopathic eye drops and nutritional things helped, but to me, she was able to clear the to me, that was a emotionally based cataract. Some people see back pain, because of, oh, they're taking on too much in their life and they get back pain. I see it when it reflects to the eyes. So I'm looking at the vision condition both on the physical, emotional, and psychospiritual level.
I love it. I love your holistic approach. It's so important. And I love it, right? Clearly you're focusing so much on relationships, and any other examples you can share that people might be able to see themselves in, as far as like patients you've seen over the years, like you just shared with this woman, and related to their relationships or what's happening in their life as it relates to their eye health?
Oh my God, I got hundreds. Well, let's talk. Well, I have one personally.
Okay.
But let's even talk about. Oh yeah, just because it's eye health. Mine was more nearsightedness. I had another patient who had macular degeneration. Again, this is a disease of happens later in life. And again, with her, she only had it in one eye. So she got referred by her acupuncturist, and I did acupuncture and Chinese medicine on her. But again, I said, I think it's more about, she was also taking care of an older parent, but to her, it was more that she was physically taking care of this older parent. So all her caretaking energy was going out, and she wasn't nourishing herself.
Got it.
And in Chinese medicine, I look at macular degeneration as starvation of the retina, like you're not getting nourished. So I said to her, you've got to do things to nourish yourself. You've got to take baths, put a little lavender in there, get a massage. She was doing psychotherapy. I talked to her. She gave me the phone number of her psychotherapist. We talked about it. And I had her do her psychotherapy with a patch on her left eye. Now you may say, why did I do it with a patch on her left eye? Back to the mother-father eye. I said, okay, when the psychotherapist was dealing with her issues with her dad, I wanted her to speak to her dad energy, which was the right eye.
Got it.
Again, with this patient, we have before and after pictures of her macular degeneration taken by the retinal specialist, and within 6 months, it all cleared up. Now, was it my nutritional herbs? Was it my Chinese medicine? Possibly, but in that case, I felt that there was a really big psycho-emotional component.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you. So what about your story as far as nearsightedness goes? Because most people probably can relate to being nearsighted. So what's the deal?
Well, so here I was. Okay, so here I usually use my workshops as 12-step programs, so I'll talk about myself. So here I was, 8 years old, and I thought I had a good childhood, and I was, happy and dancing and all the things like that. And then at 8 years old, I, couldn't see the board, and I went to the doctor, and they gave me glasses. And, then as usual happens in nearsightedness, then a year or two later, you need stronger glasses and stronger glasses, because we treat the symptom, not the problem. 90% of people who get glasses the first time, a year or two later, they need stronger glasses. Think about that for a second before I tell my own story. If you went to a chiropractor, you went to a massage therapist, and every time you went to them, it got worse, you probably would stop going. You probably would go to somebody else. But to the eye doctor, we tell you it's supposed to get worse.
Right.
It's like, oh, it's just supposed to get worse. Don't worry about it. It's like, really? And I'll tell a little funny story about that. So my dad was an accountant, and 90% of accountants are nearsighted. And he wanted me to be an accountant because I was good in math. I said, I don't want to be an accountant. He goes, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I want to be an eye doctor. He goes, oh, tell me what eye doctors do. Well, we examine your eyes, and usually we give you glasses or contacts, check for eye health, and then and then they usually thank us and pay us, and we give them glasses. He goes, okay, tell me more. A year or two later, they come back, and most of the time the prescription has gotten worse, and we have to give them stronger glasses or contacts, and they come in and they thank us and pay us again. He goes, let me get this straight. You give them something. I go, yes. And it gets worse. I go, yes. And they pay you. He goes, I go, yes. And they thank you. I go, yes. And they come back. He goes, I like this profession a lot. Being an accountant, he says, you can't go wrong.
Yes.
But I said, I don't want people's eyes to get worse. I was legally blind without glasses. I couldn't see the big E on the chart. Now I could drive without glasses. I could read without glasses. So I know that things work. So back to my story, I was 8 years old and I got glasses and they got worse and worse. And then about maybe 25 years ago, I was doing some psychotherapy. And the therapist said to me, well, how old do you feel? I go, oh, I feel about 8 years old. She goes, what happened when you were 8? I go, I don't know. She goes, go ask your mom. So, all right. So I go ask my mom, and my mom goes, don't tell your sisters. I said, why? What happened? What happened when I was 8? She goes, when you were 8, my mom had a nervous breakdown. Oh. So she was emotionally and physically there for me from 0 to 8. All of a sudden, emotionally, she was gone. It was emotional abandonment. It was like, so it's like she was gone. So what did I do? I tried to study more. I couldn't connect. And so on a psychological level, my nearsightedness was partly due to my mother, like, being vacant. My dad was working all the time. Then I also did a lot of close work. And that made my eyes get worse because most people who do a lot of close work, their prescriptions get worse. That's why the incidence of nearsightedness in Asia right now, in China or Japan, is epidemic. 90% of children under the age of 12 are nearsighted. By the year 90%.
Close work, is that like they're doing stuff that's close to their face?
Yeah, cell phones, computers, the technological age. I mean, by the year 2050, over 50% of the population in the world will be nearsighted. If that's not an epidemic, nothing is. And why? Because of the technological age. You see 3-year-olds on iPads. You see kids on cell phones. The world now exists between here and 12 inches. So we became epidemic, and we just give them glasses and glasses and glasses and stronger and stronger and stronger. So this I'll be talking about a lot of this week at a conference, but it's epidemic. And then when you put strain on the visual system, our ways of relating to the world early, it's going to become chronic disease in our aging population later.
Absolutely. So for people watching right now we're all aging, no matter what age we're at right now. So what suggestions do you have for natural eye practices or care or prevention, all that kind of stuff?
Well, first is I'm a big believer in prevention. As Benjamin Franklin said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So, as little as 6 milligrams of lutein, which is a carotenoid for the macula, can cut the risk of macular degeneration by 62%. I mean, right there. And what's the number one food for the eyes?
Carrots?
Nope, it's not carrots. The number one food for the eyes is kale.
Oh, excellent.
Kale, because it has the highest amount of lutein and orange pepper, zeaxanthin. So the green leafy vegetables, super important. The omega-3 fatty acids, fish oil, flaxseed oil, chia seeds, krill oil, blueberries, the dark grapes. These are the foods. So, I always try to get things as much through food. So a good diet, a Mediterranean diet, cut down on your refined sugars, cut down on your refined fried foods. Obviously I have a website that tries to, give supplements, and they're called supplements to supplement a good lifestyle. It's like if you're going to smoke and drink and eat burgers all day, you can take my eye vitamins and they'll help a little bit, but it's an overall approach. I mean, like we'll talk about later. I mean, I worked on a new book. It's 800 pages on natural eye care and how to treat things naturally. But it's diet, food, exercise, regular aerobic exercise, meditation, approach to life. The number one, and here's a real kicker. I've been seeing people into their 90s, and I was always curious, what do they have in common that most people who live a healthy life into their 90s? Is it nutrition? No. Is it a lifestyle? Possibly. Is it approach to life? No. The number one thing that I have found is they take the least amount of drugs in their life. If they have to take drugs, and do I prescribe and recommend drugs for certain eye diseases? The answer is yes. But they'll do it in combination of an integrated approach with other things. So they'll do homeopathy, they'll do Chinese herbs. If they're taking some medication that they need, they'll take it with herbs to help detoxify the liver and the kidneys to help it excrete. They'll take Epsom salt baths to help. So if you have to take medication, and I'm trained as a regular eye doctor, I am not against it, but to integrate it with herbs, homeopathy, baths, to not let those drugs get into your system.
Got it.
So those are some of my tips, yeah.
Yeah, I would have not guessed that one. I thought maybe you were going to say something related to relationships or connection or something, again, as far as the number.
Oh, those are all important.
Yeah.
All important, but yeah.
So, like, because you tie in this whole mind, body, spirit approach, what are some other like root causes that you see for different kinds of really more common diseases like glaucoma, macular degeneration? Do you see differences between each like disease, like as a root cause?
Yeah. So in glaucoma, because many times glaucoma has to do with high eye pressure, and in Chinese medicine it has to do with the liver meridian, I see people who are more type A personalities that get more tense, energy rising, tight shoulders, sort of related on the underlying pattern to high blood pressure. So with glaucoma patients, since it's the energy going up, I want to bring it down. So I tell them to go stand in the earth, to do earthing kind of things, with mats, play with clay. So for glaucoma, rub your feet on a tennis ball to bring the energy down. Do foot baths if you're watching something. So glaucoma, it's energy going up. Qigong, Tai Chi. In macular degeneration, because I look at it as nurturing, and even this other ophthalmologist who wrote a book like I did on holistic approaches to eye disease, again, he called macular degeneration starvation of the retina. To me, it's about nurturing. Earth element, stomach, spleen. Again, like I talked about that patient, if you're giving out so much energy, nourish yourself, get a massage, do a bath, eat nurturing foods, because what earth elements try to do when they're out of balance, they go for the sugars. They go for the high, and they can put on weight easily, but it's hard to take it off. So about self-nurturing, I'm really big on for macular degeneration patients. Let people take care of you. Accept gifts, ask for things instead of you being always the person there for everybody, which is not a bad thing. But, it's all about, the goal of every Chinese medicine treatment is balance and harmony. And that's the goal for life. How can we have balance and harmony in our life? And I'm always looking at that when I'm looking at eye dis-ease.
Got it. Thank you. I appreciate that. So for people watching who are struggling with either of those conditions or, want to prevent those from happening, then they have some tools and stuff. So One other question, like you mentioned, you were legally blind and couldn't, you know, drive without your glasses way back when, and now like you don't wear anything. So how did you do that? Did you do like eye exercises, or was it all the lifestyle stuff you're talking about?
Well, I went for vision therapy myself to work on my myopia. My mentor at the time was a yogi. He was a yogic eye doctor. And I think that's why I look at a yoga approach to eye improvement. I lecture at a yoga center called Kripalu a lot, twice a year. And you know, one on surviving and thriving in the technological world is one of my workshops, and the other one is holistic eye care. And I went through vision therapy, and I devised my own techniques for vision therapy. And I also, one of my other books is a magic eye. Remember those pictures where you relax your eyes and a picture pops out? 30 years ago, they sold 30 million of these. They were on the bestseller list, but I'm their medical person.
Okay.
So these books not only are good for entertainment, they relax your eye muscles so they can improve your eyes. So eye exercises, lifestyle changes, and approach to life. But I did do eye exercises, and I do eye exercises with people to help their vision improve. Now, the major thing that I did was balance and harmony. You know, why did my eyes get bad? Because I was studying 6 to 8 hours a day. When I was in acupuncture school, I'd already improved my eyes, and I was studying for my national boards, and I was doing it, and I was watching my eyes get worse again. And I said, oh, okay, but I didn't treat the symptom by getting stronger glasses. I said, okay, after I take my boards, I'm going to do my exercises again. And I got my vision back. And now I'm a little nearsighted. I could pass a driving test without glasses. I use glasses for just driving at night, but I'm also 64 years old and I can read everything up close. So I sort of like my balance.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little bit blurry, but it's not too blurry. But I don't have to be dependent on glasses or contacts to be in the world. So I'm in a happy balance, at least visually.
It's awesome. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I've never really given it a lot of thought. So you're opening my eyes to so many things today, because I've had glasses since I was maybe 6, and like you, right? Your story of your father, like, wait, so you just keep going back and they keep getting worse. I'm like, yes, that was the story until I was probably 30, and since then they haven't changed since then. I wear contacts, and I've never done any eye exercises or anything to try to reverse that or balance that out. But they've just stayed the same for probably at least 10 years now. So it's
right. They usually stabilize at about 20, 30, as long as you're not putting yourself under a severe amount of stress of doing like 6 to 8 hours of sustained close work. Remember, function affects structure. You know, you talked a little bit about your background as an exercise physiologist. If you carry 50 pounds of rice on your back, eventually this is going to be straight. If you do close work all day, the eye is going to adapt for that distance.
Okay. Yeah.
And then become nearsighted. But, you know, that nearsightedness is in that you had when you were 6, 8, 10, 12, 20 years old, is in your body musculature. You know, you probably have, you know, tight trapezius muscles over there, you know, and here, and except, but maybe not. I'm just saying, it depends on how well you take care of yourself. If a lot of times you do a lot of yoga and exercise, then you can loosen that. But this is usually where we tend to hold our attention for nearsighted people.
Okay. Oh, good to know. All these new insights. I love it. Thank you. So for people watching, if they want to learn more about you and your work, and I know that you have free stuff on your site, you have a newsletter. Could you share a little bit about that? And everybody, there's a button below you can click on to head over to Marc's website for more resources.
Yeah, about 18 to 20 years ago, I started a website with my best friend, Michael Edson, called Natural Eye Care, because I published my first book on natural eye care because I was always into nutrition and Chinese medicine and exercise. But you know, a website, you can keep up with the latest things. So if a new research study comes up, so we have a free newsletter. I have a free eye exercise booklet to learn how to heal your eyes, different acupressure points on that thing. And we have natural protocols for over 36 different eye diseases. We also offer free phone consultations. Not with me. If you need me, you're going to have to send me your records and pay for the phone consultation. But Michael, who's been with me for 18 years and can answer almost every question, will do free phone consultations on any eye condition. And if he has any questions, he asks me. So the website is over 300 pages of information. So knowledge is power. And that's why I love what you're doing, because you're getting information out. Yes. And, you know, I've been in a closet for all these years, and now that the technological age can help me share my information, I'm in such gratitude that for people like yourself who are getting information out. So my website is naturaleyecare.com. My goal is to empower people to get insight to their eyesight and to keep their precious gift of sight, because people live their whole life and then finally they can retire, play with their grandchildren, want to read, and then most of them, 75% of people over 75 have either cataracts, glaucoma, or macular degeneration, or a combination. So let's prevent that. Let's try to help people, and the way to do it is to educate. So thank you, so much for what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, absolutely our pleasure. And thank you so much for doing this, Marc. And for everyone watching, Michael will also be part of this event. So you'll be able to see his class as well. So awesome. Thank you so much. This has been a delight. Are there any last insights? Anything else you want to leave people with before we wrap up?
Yes. Okay. I believe, I have a couple of belief systems, you can believe them or not, that it is an integrated approach. You have to be your own healthcare advocate. You want to ask questions. And when you go, I work in a multi-disciplinary eye clinic with 8 other eye doctors. So when you go to you have a health condition, you need to put your team together. You need to put together your team of, if it's an eye doctor, maybe you need a nutritionist. Maybe you need somebody to work on your exercise. Maybe you need a therapist. So, one professional doctor is never the answer. So, and like I said, I'm excited because this week I get to talk to an integrative healthcare symposium and be on a panel with 5 other doctors. And it's like, yes, I could use all of you, and that's my thing. So don't, be your own advocate. Take education, use the information that you're doing with your media and getting it out there, and take care of yourself.
Awesome. Thank you, Marc. I appreciate it. It's been an awesome time talking with you.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone who's watching, who's listening right now, for showing up for yourself and giving yourself this self-care today and tuning into this latest class. And we will see you again very soon. Take care.